Okay, guys, I'm like elated. This is a very exciting time for me because I've got somebody that I've known pretty much my entire life. And her name is Limor Zino, and I've known her family, I've known her brothers. Um, and it's just kind of, I'm elated to be talking to you, Limor. It's so wonderful. And we're in the same industry, we're in
Thank
the
you.
same kind of realm market. I'm in, of course, in Southern California, you're in Southern Africa. And I want to hear about, tell me how things are going for you there, Limor, under the quarantine situation, how you're conducting your business, and how that's affected you. Or has there been a blessing, or has it been kind of like a curse, the yin and the yang?
Kevin, I think it's a bit of both. One needs to adapt, obviously, to the COVID-19. It's challenging in terms of you cannot take clients out and show,
Mm.
you show the property firsthand, but we are doing virtual tours, and I think that's the way of the future. And thank God we have managed to close a couple of deals during the COVID-19, the lockdown. So that's positive.
So, Limor, uh, you're in the luxury world. So actually, a lot of your time, your clients are high net worth individuals, um, or they're a select few. So are you're in the luxury division, right, in South African real
Yes.
estate, or do you kind of cross the board? You'll do sell a condo today and a 10 million rand home tomorrow.
So we all have designated areas. So I work for a company called First Realty Company, and in our company we've got 4 divisions. Sorry, I'm just diversing slightly. So we've got 4 divisions. We've got the renting side, we've got selling, we've got commercial, and now we're doing auctions, which is a new part of the company. And I think eventually that's exactly where the market is going to eventually go. Yes, I do high end. So we operate in Sandton, which is practically known as the richest square mile in Africa. And we have different sectors. So you have sectional title, which basically are apartments and townhouses. And then you've got freehold, and that's where I work. So it just depends on each property is individual, and it can range from the lower millions to the very high upper millions, even as high as 100 million. So
Mm-hmm.
it just depends. So it's across the board in terms of the suburb that I do.
Can I ask you, what's the highest price point you've sold in your career? Because I don't want to say you're young, because you look young, and we feel young. In your short span of your career, the biggest high price point you've sold, Limor?
So I've sold a couple of properties in the region of 20 million. Although we do have properties on our books that are 80 million and 100 million. Obviously, those are a lot harder to sell and to move, especially in this market. But yes, I do the high end, and I think 20 million is good. Is good going.
Absolutely, it's amazing. I'm so proud of you. Well done, Limor. Well done. Have you been in real estate your entire adult career, or were you doing something prior to this?
When I finished school, I was in the restaurant industry, and I got into real estate in 2000. So I've been in the real estate industry for almost 21 years now.
Got it, absolutely. And then Limor, here in America, right now we're going into kind of, it was called wholesaling. So our economy is struggling. We have over 30 million unemployed Americans. So 1 out of every 4 Americans are unemployed right now. So it's because of this invisible attack, this virus, this global pandemic. So right now we're seeing a lot of properties come into the market that are that used to sell for retail or above. In a sense, if an investor wants to buy it, they wouldn't mind paying maybe 10 to 15% above a retail price, because in investments a long-term mindset. So they would buy. Now all of a sudden we're seeing prices below retail, and 75 cents on the dollar, 85 cents, 90 cents on the dollar. I didn't see that coming back. I knew it was coming back, and I knew when, and now it's here. So we're seeing a lot of properties. Yesterday, for instance, I put 3 offers in on some undervalued market properties because they're motivated to sell because of reasons, the situation that we're in right now. Do you see something like that happening in South Africa right now, or is your market still strong?
No, oh gosh, no. We're at an all-time low. It's probably the worst market it's been in almost 40 years. It's definitely a buyer's market. And even saying that, I mean, it's very important to price a house correctly. You cannot come and take chances and even try slightly higher, because you're just kicking yourself out the ballpark. You need to be on par, and buyers are still taking chances. They're still coming in with offers lower, at 40% lower than asking.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, the stats are saying that we are heading for a very deep recession. So if you go back to when you were in recession in 2008,
Yes.
think
Yeah.
of the economy then. We hitting that. I mean, not only now, but we're hitting that now. We're heading for a very deep
Got it.
recession.
And you working with First, I love the name First. I think it's so glamorous, and it just makes so much sense in so many ways. And even the branding is great. I love the branding. It all makes sense.
Okay.
It's very kind of royalty orientated and so forth. So I can see why you went with the brand. And also I did some research on the owner. She's got a great track record. So you made some good decisions. That's interesting, Limor, because again, I deal with buyers, as I also deal with a lot of investors. I got into the industry when the market crashed, and I believe I got in the best time. I got in at 2012. We're at the bottom of the market, and I knew nothing about real estate. But my family in South Africa, they own Fifth Avenue. It's a big commercial company there, Limor, in
I
South
know Fifth
Africa.
Avenue, yes.
Oh yeah, so my uncle said get into real estate. So I got into real estate, coming back from South Africa in 2011, because I was there for the World Cup. Came back, got my real estate license, and got into residential because I wanted the right now money. I want, commercial is great because I love those paychecks more. However, some of my deals are 3.5 years in the making before you see any return on investment. In saying that, I've now had to almost do like 60%, or actually maybe even 70%, looking at investment properties for my clients, because they're buying these deals, they're buying them below market value. And then commercial, the thing with commercial is, some of them, my deals are, some of them can be in the billions or more. Really, there's big deals in the market right now because a lot of wealthy people want to, get rid of this. We call it stock, their inventory, and then a lot of the majority of the investors want to buy the deals right now because, they've made a bunch of money. They've been smart and savvy. They've watched the trends, and they were the ones who took advantage of this pandemic. Instead of running for the hills, they ran for the avalanche. They said, "Oh, bring the wave on. Where's opportunity in this?" And I think that makes a difference between the winners and the losers. Not that I've been at home for almost 2 months now. That's why I started this channel, because I had to do something, but I do have my computer, so I'm allowed to submit offers online. Are you finding a lot of your business is done online now with electronic offers and open houses and virtual tours?
Yes, I have been a bit naughty and done a sneak preview here and there. But that's definitely the way of the market. I mean, today everything is electronic.
Right. And for you, Limor, what is the future hold? If I want to invest in South Africa, what advice can you give me if I'm coming to you to, maybe I want to buy a vacation home, or maybe I want to buy a vineyard or some kind of property in South Africa? What advice would you give me? Where would you allocate my money for real estate in South Africa?
That's a very good question, because the market, as you know, is just unfortunately the way that it is. And it depends. So in South Africa, obviously the best place to invest would be in Cape Town, where you've got the sea and the mountain. But it depends what you're looking for. I mean, Johannesburg is the business hub of Africa. We don't really have villas as such. We've got wine farms in Cape Town, which is always beautiful and a great investment.
Oh, awesome. So Limor,
So I'm not sure if I'm answering your question though.
No, you are. It's just, we're having a nice conversation. I'm also just trying to delve deep into your market, because I'm looking more for an investment purpose. I'm not going to live in South Africa, but when there's opportunity, in a sense, 40% market value, that's just huge. That almost in a sense is prime time to buy for anybody who's got some money, because you're getting an amazing deal.
in terms of investing, I mean, it's definitely a time for investors to buy, you know. Certainly buy for close to the varsities, buy close to the Gautrain. Definitely invest in apartments, 1 or 2 bedroom apartments that one can get, that can rent out and get a return, see a return on the property. Yeah, I think that's where we're at. A lot of people are offloading their stock at the moment, unfortunately. But as we say, it is definitely a time to buy if you've got the money on hand.
And there always is a market, hey, Limor. There always is somebody that's willing to buy. You just have to find them. For you, do you find a lot of foreign investment, or there actually a lot of local? Is there a local market for you with the inventory?
So don't forget, South Africa is heading for a deep recession. So, and a lot of people have immigrated. A lot of people have pulled out of South Africa, unfortunately. So we don't have the influence from outside countries as we once did. We had a lot of investors buying in Cape Town, the Germans, and that's that sort of trade. But we don't have that anymore. We have a lot of people coming in from Africa, obviously, with South Africa being the hub of Africa. But yeah, it's just sad. A lot of people have immigrated. So, and there's a huge section of our country. I mean, a huge portion. I think we're almost 50% that are unemployed. So that's huge.
Yeah.
We can only hope that it can get better. I mean, for me, yes, 100%. We've seen the highs and the lows, but it's about persevering, and it's about just marching on, putting your head up, and just continuing. You've just got to do what you've got to do. Real estate is not, it's not a part-time job. It's a 24/7. And I've been in the industry for a hell of a long time, and I have a name out there, thank God. But that's due to hard work and perseverance. People trust me. So I think I have a step ahead in comparison to others that have just maybe come into the real estate world. It's definitely tough. It's challenging, but you've got to think out of the box. And in fact, you've even got to think out of that box. So, as I said, in our company, we've started a new division, which is the auctioneering side of it, which is also, we're finding that a lot of, I think eventually the property market will go that way, just like you have in Australia and New Zealand, where you have a set date for the auction. Everybody comes to the auction on the day, and they bid, they buy the home within that hour, instead of the conservative way of marketing a home, where it's show days and your property gets listed onto the website and you wait for the buyer to call and you do the viewings, etc., etc. We work at a very, very fast pace, and you've just got to be on top of your game and know what's happening in the industry.
I love that, the auction world, because it's something that I'm very unfamiliar with. However, like you said, Limor, it's actually becoming quite the norm here. A lot of agencies actually have a division going to auction, and I'm talking about the luxury world. I don't know about any, but a lot
across
of
the board.
Yeah, and they're even now, we even have on some of our real estate websites for luxury. They're even selling jets and Bugattis, and I mean high product, high luxury toys, if you want to call it that. So that's very interesting, because I'm not familiar with it. And a company that came into America from Australia called Harcourts has introduced this. And actually, I scoffed at it. I kind of brushed it off. But let me tell you what, they are claiming market territory like crazy, because at the end of the day, if a client can't sell their home because it's a $10 million home, anything above $2 million in America is considered a jumbo loan. So that other above 2 million, so anything between 1 to 2 million, it's good. Anything in between 2 to 7 million, it's kind of like a gray area anymore. It's just, they're hard to sell. For some reason, the CEOs that can afford those homes, there's only a select few. So the 2 to 7 million dollars is really hard. Anything above 7 million, the more we call it silly money. It's like that FU money. And I'm saying it in a nice way, because they can drop 10, 20, 50, $100 million, no problem. But there's only a few of those homes. And again, those homes get what they're asking for, because there's only one of that kind of home. There's homes here in Beverly Hills, up in the Hollywood Hills, going for $500 million. And they're selling, okay, it's sold for 250. What I'm trying to say, though, is, somebody's laying down $250 million for a home. So yes, it's very interesting. And I do believe that opens up a whole nother realm of opportunity, because now as an investor, I can buy property all over the world through auction without having to be there through these online platforms. So Limor, I want to end it there. You've been amazing. I also want to thank you for your time. Is it okay if I get some of your details from the website and put it in the description box below? If you want to reach out to you, you never know.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Absolutely. And even though Limor says she works 24/7, she doesn't give her time. I know South Africans, they work hard, they also can play hard. And Limor, during this time, for any of your associates or anybody in the real estate world, can you give us like some advice, kind of to end the conversation off?
Well, I think I pretty much said it
Yeah.
just now. You know, I think you've just got to persevere, and you've just got to keep your head up and march on. It's tough. It's tough for everybody, but we will. You know, this too shall pass, and that's what life is about. It's about thinking out the box, and you know, life happens when you're busy making other plans. And I think it happens in our industry as well. You know, no matter what you do, you've just got to keep on marching.
Well, there, you got it from Limor. Limor said, think outside the box, not just outside the box, think outside that box. And I've never heard that before, Limor. You're amazing, Limor Zino. I love it. Thank you for your time. You're very special. I come to South Africa about every 2 years over the December area. Not that I can't promise you anything, because we all have a different lives. However, I'd love to touch base and see face to face again and catch up. And hopefully we'll do some business together in the near future.
That would be great. I'd love to see you.
Thank you, Limor.